Peggy 18.
One of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we did with Inversion is that we integrated the gravity powers into the game in a meaningful way so that they didn't feel forced. It feels much more like it's part of the experience. And not only that, but we've tied it into the story, we've tied it into the environments, and in many respects we've substituted gravity with some of the other weapons you might have in the game, so not only does it not feel forced, or it's all the player has.
At the beginning of Inversion, you get dropped into Vanguard City. It's a very sort of everyday urban environment.
One of the things that we really wanted to achieve with the game was to create a city which looked like a city that anybody could have potentially lived in.
Our artists took a lot of reference from like Brazil, Portugal.
You could be in Rio de Janeiro, you could be in New York City, I mean, you could even be in Cleveland. As the player progresses through the game world and the story opens up, and the environments will get wackier and wackier.
So you start to see the Lutadors build their sort of structures out off of your walls. You will see some pretty different things as you progress, and then once you get to the end, it's going to be something like you've never seen before.
The interesting thing actually is when we started to work on the game, the original concept was just gravity. And we decided, you know what, this is so cool to have all these objects floating. It looks so impressive from a physics standpoint. We should probably let the player manipulate those objects.
So gravity can affect the environment in multiple ways. You can shoot a low-G projectile, create an impulse, and lift objects up into the air. High gravity does the opposite. You can shoot objects which are floating, hanging, and knock them down to the ground. Vector changes. So vector changes really give us the opportunity to play with the environment.
You're standing on the floor, and the next thing you know, you're standing on the side of one of those skyscrapers. And that's awesome. It's kind of trippy, kind of like an Escher drawing or painting.
The last way gravity is used in our game is zero gravity environments. The players can actually navigate through these floating environments, grabbing onto different pieces of cover and floating from object to object.
Our attitude, by the way, with regards to the cover system and shooting is that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are games out there that are doing it really well. Having said that, you know, we obviously wanted to innovate. So we've had to establish a cover system which works in zero gravity.
Because when you hop into this environment, I can jump here, 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 move around objects, move under, around them, really 360 degrees of cover and movement.
One of the fun things about using gravity as a weapon is thinking about how an enemy would react when he gets lifted into zero gravity.
So when you shoot the Lutadors with low gravity, they lift up out of the air. Everything's flailing and get their guns and try to shoot, but they're not very accurate because they're floating. There's a lot of recoil, there's a lot of pushback.
And actually the enemies can use zero gravity against you.
So when the Lutadors have the same powers as you, it makes a very interesting balance.
Don't stop!
When we started to develop Inversion, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on was advanced physics.
Tons of things are destructible in Inversion. Everything from cover to cars to just debris, all kinds of things in the game are destructible.
We work with Havoc on creating Havoc Destruction.
So Havoc Destruction really allows us to do a lot of cool things that really haven't been seen before. Just completely just mess up and just destroy everything around you.
Not only are we doing incredible things with physics and destruction on the single player campaign, but we're allowing for that physics to take place in multiplayer as well. No one's doing that. One of the things that I'm really excited about in the game, for me personally, is just how immersive and believable we've made the game world over the first few levels of the game. It really sucks you in.
You have great voiceover acting, you have some great music, you have some great encounters with enemies, you have great boss fights. Just when all those things click together is when you sort of know, I think we're on to something here.